early next year. So we have a lot of hope. I think we're going to see most of the canal lots move and the weekly rental dry lots. I think we're going to see the monthly rental dry lots take a little bit more time. It's not an investment property. It's not a flip per se. Now, what we're seeing just on trends and planning, whereby most of these lots had ranch homes or 2-bedroom, 1-bath cottages or 2-bedroom, 2-bath cottages, we're seeing on the north end here 6-bedroom rentals, 5-bedroom rentals, 3-story. Because if you're putting your lot cost at 800 to 1.5, that's where it's going to be. So your density is going to really happen here. As we get on the canal lots, we're looking at 4 to 5-bedroom, and we're really seeing much larger homes come up, much more well-to-do, much higher demographic on that. On the Gulf and Bay, you'll see 5 to 6 bedrooms, 3-story. The canals, you'll see more 2-story on the wide ones, some 3-story. So I think interest rates is a real factor here. On the condo market, we have 285 condos on MLS right now. I remember when it was 115, that was a lot. 285. So in the past 4 months, we have 10 pending and 35 sold. So 45 and out of 285. Wow, 10%. I don't think we have even seen the condos that are coming to market yet. You have 45% of the condo buildings are open in that ratio range. This is my intuition, but I believe we've got about another 30% should be opening by fall. And then the remainder will be next year, just finishing up. They started late. I really feel, because of the HOAs and the flood cost, the HOA insurance is going higher, that the affordability factor is going to be there. I think you're going to see quite a few foreclosures, quite a few REO. I wouldn't be surprised if you have another 100, 150 condos come on the market by spring or summer. Okay. Now this is something of interest on the new construction condos. So like Gulfside 12, maybe it's like Seagate or any other London Bay or any other mid-sized project. If you look at the condos, as you get up in that $3 million to $4 million and higher price tags, if you look in Barefoot Beach and Naples, they only allow one rental, 90 days. That's it. So just for your own planning, there is something to think about as you get a Seagate or London May. And I'm making a generalization of this, but likely it won't be weekly. It won't be 12 rentals, 30 days each. It'll be maybe 6 rentals, 30 days only during season. So your off-season occupancy of the new construction condos will be almost 0. And that goes to our new construction homes. As you're going up here to your $2.5 million on a dry lot, 4-bedroom, and to We're going to see somewhere between 3 and 5 million on canals by next year. Well, they have a city home in the Midwest, they have a lake home, and they got a place in Colorado. So they're just going to be here for a few months. One thing I'm hearing, it may not be related to this, I'll share, is everyone who's building a new construction home or luxury home, speaking more of the luxury demographic, every one of them has said, we need more restaurants. They eat out 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Most all of them, they do not cook. Just keep that in mind. You might share with folks there. Sorry. All right. Now, so let's see here. So you're to walk you through some of the costs that we're looking at, and then have some spreadsheets of maybe some tax roll numbers to work with as a starter there. Okay, so our our 5 to 6 bedroom canal home on a weekly rental, the land's going to run probably ballparking, 1.5 on the canal, and it's about a $2 million build, so you're in it for $3.5 million. Okay, so we talked about FBO1 and FBO2. There's 77 canal homes at $3.5 million. Your weekly dry lot builds, your lots are probably going to be around $600,000 on average. A 3-bedroom, 2 baths, going to be about $700 range. A 4-bedroom, $875. A 5-bedroom, $1.2 to $1.4. So your total cost is $1.3, $1.5, or $1.8 range. So if you look in the middle of our island, where the weekly zones are, FBO2, FBO3, we have about 190 lots there approximately. And you multiply that by, on average, 1.5 million. It gives you an idea. The Estero Boulevard, the land cost on the dry side, around $800,000, 5 to 6 beds. You're going to be in your build cost 1.4 to $2 million range. This isn't direct Gulf front. Your back bay land, your build cost is going to be around 2.25 plus $2 million for land. You're in it for 4.25 million. Your canals, $750 for land, 1.3 million build cost. You're going to be in around 2.1 million. Gulf front, you're probably 2.5 to 3 million, and the $3 million buy cost. So my laptop is at the computer repair as of yesterday. I had a virus, so I rebuilt my most of my sheet and some on hers. But I'm going to share all this data with you in a spreadsheet and actually have it broken out. How many units that are on MLS, how many are off, dry, wet, Canal Bay, from Siesta, broken by Siesta Isle, San Carlos, and each section of the island, and with some my estimated calculation. So to give you an idea, in Bayside Estates, so we have 176 units at this Lee County. I don't have the permit information on that, but 97 units there. Your lot cost is about $150,000. Most of those are 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 2. They're manufactured homes, but we're starting to see them get elevated. Probably going to become a modular, most likely. So if you take 97 units, you're about 43 million build and land. And if you're on the water, on the canals, you're, excuse me, have it reversed. So the first one's water, the second one's dry at 75 for lot. Your cost to build's 200, so it's 19 million. So Bayside Estates, that's about $63 million in new build tax revenue. Siesta Isles, Palm Isles, and Broadway, they're pretty much developed. They didn't really lose much there. We have not very much really available there, maybe about, they have a whole new development out off Siesta Isles there, so I didn't calculate that in there for you, but I can get you that spreadsheet. San Carlos Island, the dry lots are 650, build cost 900. You know, we have 2 dry lots on the east side for 1.5, and so 2 times 1.53, and those would be about a smaller, like 4-bedroom, but we have 13 bayfront. $2 million for the lot, $2.5 million to build. They're really luxury, high end. All right, so there's $58 million in new tax base for you. The other side of San Carlos Island, we have 50 dry and 199 water lots. This wasn't in the, this was not in my Estero Island total I just gave you. So the dry lots run about 90,000. I'd say 250 for a real modest modular. You're in it for 340. There's 17 million tax base. Your wet's about 200,000 for a lot. 250 maybe for a, excuse me, 250 for the lot, 325 for the build, 575. So maybe 114 million in new tax base. And then I have it broken up by section on the island. That's a lot of data just to hear. It probably doesn't mean much until you get spreadsheets, but I'll work up the total for you so you can get a rough. Bottom line, you know, Gulfront, you got the DEP, so that's a year wait, and then you got a 2.5-year build. You don't have that, you probably a dozen permits, a new construction on the Gulfront, and as we said, we have 91 Gulfront in various iterations, so I don't think you're going to really see anything for 3, 4, and 5 years on the Gulfront. The on Siesta Isles Bayside, until the interest rates come down, I just don't see that moving much. Most of them are not cash buyers. Siesta Isles, Palm Isles, Broadway, San Carlos Bay, those folks have the disposable income. I think that will all just keep moving very fast over the next few years. The commercial side, hold on, I probably only had 10 minutes, have no idea how long I talked. Sorry about that. Hold on, I want to get this one right here for you. All right. So, you know, we estimated Margaritaville cost 140 to 160 million construction costs, and I think they had about 30 something in land costs. But Neptune, 130,000 square foot, we're just ballparking. I do not have the cost. Maybe it's 195 million, and they bought it for 26 a few years ago. And I mean, it's at least probably 2 years out before dirt gets moved, maybe 2.5, 3 years. Red Coconut, I think that's going to take quite a while. Hopefully that's somewhat helpful for you, but I'll get it on the spreadsheet so you can stare at it and make it usable. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Fleming, for bringing this plan forward this morning. We'll move on to the next item, which is unfinished business. I'll pass that on to Chief.
Very good, thank you. So, first order of unfinished business is the high water vehicle that we've been working on, and that project continues. We last month I put the slide up on the screen showing the two options that we were looking at, one being the military vehicle and the other one being the amphibious vehicle. Had the opportunity to keep working with the manufacturer of the amphibious vehicle to see if, we could come up with a design that would meet our needs. We've made some good progress on that, and on the screen is very easy to see. You guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're working on for a concept is the amphibious vehicle with a custom add-on to the back that's about 2 feet wide. It gives an easier staircase for folks to climb in, with the front vehicle holding about 6 passengers, 2 operators. And the back trailer, which is also amphibious and can float, can hold another 8 adults. Or you can put somebody in a wheelchair in there to help move a wheelchair patient. On the back custom platform, we are looking to, you'll see on the left side, there's the drop-down stairs. The door opens sideways on this one, where the other vehicles we were looking at, the door opened down and made it harder to customize or do anything with. This one also is driven by hydraulics, which gives us the opportunity to run a fire pump. So on the right side of this platform is a hydraulically driven small pump, but a fire pump that could pump one fire line. So in the situation during Helene, where we stayed in the district, we had a structure fire, and it was too deep for even the high water vehicle we had in district. This pump would drop right down into that water, and you'd be able to put a firefighting line in service. The trailer, we're looking at it, we've designed it with a 100-gallon tank in it. So in the event it was dry and it was a bonfire on the beach, or something where it's not a flooding situation, this particular vehicle would have a short hose that would go from the tank to the pump, and that would be its water source, again, to do some basic firefighting. So right now, we're in the final stages of making sure all the hydraulics from the truck can feed this fire pump. If that concept, proof of concept comes through, then the next step is I'll rent one of these pumps from, it's basically like a trash pump, and make sure that it'll give us the volume we think it'll give before I would come back and say that this is a doable project. This whole assembly would come with a trailer, so it would all have a regular trailer that the whole thing would be on, and it could be deployable for USAR use. And right now we're looking about slightly less than the military vehicle we were looking at once we add firefighting capabilities to that. So it's been a journey. Learned a lot. This is a outside the box idea a bit. So we are still between both of those. I'm not standing here today saying the amphibious vehicle is the way to go, but if it will do the things that we've designed it to do, it might be a strong contender. So that's kind of where we are on the high water vehicle right now. Hopefully by next month I'll be able to come forward and say, here's my recommendation, one way or the other. In both of these vehicles, whether it's this or the LMTV, this probably would have about a 3-month lead time, about a month from the manufacturer, and then probably another couple months for the customizations that have to be done, where the LMTV would probably be similar, 4 to 6 months lead time. Take any questions? Okay.
In general, what kind of dollars are we talking?
About 300,000.
Just a
The
ballpark.
LMTV right now is at about 275 without any firefighting on it. So I have to work on finishing out that pricing to see what it'll be with firefighting.
This option is likely to come in a little less.
This is right around 300, and that includes the trailer you see here with the modifications and the flatbed trailer the longer flatbed trailer, which could be pulled with our Ford F-250. So that rig would basically be what we would send with our USAR guys when they do an out-of-county deployment. So,
Thanks, Chief.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very good. Thank you.
We'll move on to our next item of unfinished business, and that's the update on admin training.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of movement on this, and that's been working with the state. So we have the submerged land lease that came with this property. That submerged land lease expired in November, but we had been working with the state proactively. They'd come out and done their inspections and whatnot. So last week, I was able to get in front of, get a meeting with DEP. And specifically, since we've got the survey in place now, the waterfront for this property has about 15 different waypoints. So it's very jagged waterfront edge. And before I go and build a new seawall and possibly a boat ramp and whatnot, before I redo that waterfront, I'm trying to straighten the waterfront edge out so I don't have a bunch of jogs in a seawall. So I met with the state, I met with DEP, and where we sit right now is that they have our fresh survey, and they're putting it in front of their title division for DEP. And they'll put their determination of where they think their main high water line is. Because there's different, even in their mapping, he's like, I have several lines here and I don't even know which one to tell you is the right one. So they're giving it to their legal folks or title division to truly plat it. So that's where we're at once I get that information. The good news is that we do have to maintain a submerged land lease, but it'll be for government use and it'll be a no-fee lease. So, right, the old lease was about $6,000 a year to maintain that lease. So, being that we'll have a government lease on it, it'll be a no-fee lease. So, it's kind of where we are on the property. Once I have that information, we'll start talking with some seawall builders and moving on that. And I'd like to do the seawall and get basically the site work in the property stabilized and elevated, get it ready for the buildings.
When you elevate that property, how high will it be above sea level, do you think, before we would put a building on it?
The property right now, I was talking with the owner of Key West Express, one of the owners, and he was pointing out the fact that the property we bought is one of the highest ones on that island. And you can see it when you're standing on his property.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to bring the ground up about another foot. Should put the underbuilding parking, I'm hoping for about 6 feet above sea level.
Okay.
And then, of course, the occupied space will be
Well above
22
that.
feet.
Yeah, well above that.
20 to 22 feet above.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Good.
one of the things over there, our next door neighbor, Grant Erickson, worked with the county, got a grant to do kind of a master plan of that waterfront. And part of that master plan, if it were to come to fruition, we kind of have a boardwalk along the waterfront. So basically, you could come down and have some retail, see the shrimping in business,
Mhm.
have restaurants, have a boardwalk, all the way down. So that's kind of the beginning of what the idea is. I'm going to try and work that into our plan. So when we do the initial seawall, I'm planning at the same height as Key West Express, and then coming back about 10 feet and elevating it maybe another 1.5 feet or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then that elevation will be retaining walls down the sides, which will help us elevate the property.
Right.
But it will also serve, if that master plan comes to fruition, that boardwalk concept will be able to go right across our property.
Nice.
So we're working with them.
It's good. It's good to be good neighbors and to see if you can put something together with them.
Yes, absolutely.
How does our property, with what the state plans on doing on the far side, they're rebuilding the shrimp docks, I believe.
Oh, so the county on the other side of
Yeah.
Erickson and Jensen? Our property doesn't really affect what they're doing over there, so I believe it was $7.5 million grant county got that's to go towards their property. So you're talking about the county property, county-owned property on the other side.
Right, and
that we
also-
looked at originally.
And isn't the state also putting in a lot of money for
Well, the grant, I believe, was a state grant,
Oh, okay.
so I believe the county will administer it, but yeah, so I believe the state's involved with it. But again, if they build all the dock that was there, all the way into what Erickson and Jensen has now, I believe they'll have more linear footage than they had before either. So
And how
they'll
many
have a
feet,
significant amount of dock space.
how many feet of waterfront?
We're about 140, about 100, no, I'm sorry, it's about 164 feet, I believe, plus front.
Anything else? Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
We will move on now to new business. Purchase of 2 F-150 staff vehicles. Back to you, sir.
Yes, so we have, these are budgeted replacements of our staff vehicles, and we are looking to do 2 Ford F-150 pickups. The proposal in front of you includes upfitting, and it also includes radios for these vehicles, and these will likely be assigned to the Assistant Chief of Operations and our training chief when that hire happens here shortly. So we are going to move, a few years back, we moved one of the Explorers out of the fleet when we did the support van. And with us putting that position in place, we're now going to, these 2 purchases are actually replacing one vehicle. So only one will come out of the fleet. That'll be the second Explorer that we have that's 2017. So it's all in the cap plan, and the details are included in the supporting documentation. So I can take any questions.
Commissioner Burnell, anything?
You said one's coming out of commission for the 2 that you're getting.
Yes.
Where's the one go?
We have different options that we use. We've tried auctioning, and we've found that trading into the dealerships has brought us the best dollars. And especially because these vehicles are upfitted, so it's not a retail vehicle. When you get in, it's got the metal console like a police car would have. So they're modified. So typically they go to get traded in, and they go to wholesale.
We're getting pickup trucks. Is that what we've typically had for the staff vehicles, or is this
We've done
allowing us to have extra capability?
This will put one more pickup in the fleet. We have both. So when I came on in 17, we started with the Explorers. We quickly realized that those were too small for the stuff we carry.
Right.
So then in 19 and 20, we replaced the 2 staff vehicles, the chief and assistant chief vehicles, with the Tahoe, a little bigger SUV.
Right.
I'm doing the pickup trucks over the Tahoes for the staff chiefs because of our experience with the high water. And my hope would be, as we build out, we bring on the chief officers that we had before Ian, is that we can go back to contributing to countywide response for emergency incidents. We haven't been able to put anybody on the strike team rotations, strike team leader,
Right.
because we're just short on folks.
Right.
So with that, the pickup truck works better if you're going off-road. They're four-wheel drive.
Right.
Versus using a Tahoe and an Explorer.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, the only downside I could even think of is it can't carry as many passengers.
that's true. They are crew cabs, so they're four-door.
Four-door.
They're
yeah.
four-door.
Well, that's good.
So that does help, especially for the training chief, because they're typically moving more people and more equipment. So-
Right. Yeah, I could certainly see the advantage of being able to load them up and move equipment over an SUV of some sort. Good. Thank you.
Would it make sense to make one of the 2 a 250 rather than the 150? I mean, is it?
We already have the Ford
one.
F-250, and that's diesel. So any bigger trailers, if we were to end up doing the high water vehicle, that 250 being a diesel could easily pull that rig. Or if there is a boat in the future, or trailer in that, the 250 will do that. What I may do once we put these 2 in the fleet is take Chief Arminger's old vehicle and possibly put a little bit bigger tires and a little bit of a lift on it. So if we can have something that's intermediate for high water. We did put bigger tires on the one that's down at Station 3 right now, and and that helps us on the beach. We did it for the sand response, but that truck, it helps us on the beach. It does not have a lift, so something with maybe a lift and a little bit bigger tire, and now we're kind of meeting that high water call.
Chief, you don't see putting caps on these or on these open vent?
So what I've included in here is a flat fiberglass cap. One of the things we found on our copper caps is that they leak. So if you fire your gears in there or whatnot, you got to worry about moisture and everything. So I do have a flat fiberglass topper in here. We may have some more conversations, but the budget would allow for either a flat one or the raised ones that we use now.
And I say that they're very utilitarian and changing those is fairly easy.
Yes.
And these are, I noticed, police responder pickups, not your standard.
They are. So I looked, because they're very comparable in price on the government contracts, the police responders with the what's the Ford? It's the STX model line. It's kind of the XL model, but with stressed up just a little bit. It's not quite a XLT. The police responder gives you bigger brakes, gives you a bigger alternator for running the emergency lights. It gives you a few other features that make it just a little more durable in my mind versus the XTX model. I was looking for something that was on the lots around the state and couldn't really find two sister trucks. So these will be ordered, but they did say that they're turning out these models within a few months. So they believe they'll be able to have them on the lot probably around March or April. The upfitting will take, they're running 90 days because there's just not a lot of upfitters. And I put some narrative in there about that. There's not a lot of upfitters doing these. So they're about 90 days out once they get all the parts in for actually doing the work.
Great. Anything else? Any comments? Any other input, Chief?
That's it.
All right. So do we have a motion to approve the purchase of two F-150 staff vehicles?
Commissioner, before you do that, I do have one other point. So these two trucks are about, collectively, they're about $25,000 more than what we had budgeted for them. So between these and the high water vehicle, once we figure out what we're doing there, we'll come back with a budget amendment probably somewhere around March. Am I right on that, Jane?
Yes.
So just so you're aware, these collectively came in about $20,000 to $25,000 more than what we had in the budget for them. So,
Is that factoring in the trade-in?
actually, it's not factoring in the trade-in, so that would
So that'll
credit back. I don't think we'll get $25,000, but it will credit back.
Okay, trade-ins are still going a little bit better value than before, so.
Yeah. And also in here, you'll see on the radio quote that is estimated. I think that might come in a little bit lower too. So at the end of the day, we may end up hitting that budget number, but if not, there'll be a small amount that will come to you with the budget amendment in the next couple months. Thank you. Now I'm done.
All right, so we'll call for a motion for the purchase of two 2025 F-150 pickup trucks, including upfitting for emergency response in the amount of $78,608 per vehicle, with a contingency of up to 5% or 100% insurance. Do we have that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Discussion? Questions? Public input? No? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carries by. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good job, Pete. All right, on to Chief's remarks.
Yes, so first off, if you haven't seen, station construction has started, or more specifically, site work has started, but we are finally off and running, and I expect things will move steadily now towards our goal of being in service by early 2026. We know we had the deadline of March, our contractor knows that, but I think they'll work steady towards that. The town manager announced his retirement yesterday. He's done some great work building virtually a whole new team for the town in his time here. And I want to say from our perspective, his team has shown a real commitment to fostering a working relationship between the town and the district. We're appreciative for all he's done in his 2 years with the town, and it's been a pleasure working with and next to Andy, specifically during the storms. So congratulations to him and his family, and I wish him the best. Our Blue Card incident management training, that, if you remember, that's it. We received that as part of the federal grant, and that is providing incident management training not only to our supervisors, but to all of our folks, so that those who are developing themselves to be future supervisors, future leaders, understand what an incident commander is thinking about as they're making plans on the fly and giving assignments. That Blue Card program we're in our last week of getting, it's the second phase, and it's the last week of getting all of our firefighters and the rest of the agency through that training. So I just want to say great job to Chief Armiger for leading this project, and congratulations to all our folks for enhancing their incident management knowledge and skills. They're currently at headquarters right now going through scenarios. So. The application period for our training chief and our HR manager closed on Monday. Jane's working through those applications, and we'll be sitting down later this week to begin the next phase of those processes. I'm told we have some very solid candidates for these positions, and that's very encouraging. I'm looking forward to getting the positions filled and getting our folks who've been doing double time some help. And finally, anniversaries for January, we have Lieutenant Todd Williamson with 19 years. We have firefighter Jeff Lundy with 12 years, and engineer Joel Martinez has 8 years. That's the end of my report.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Salzman, attorney remarks?
3 accidents on the way.
You weren't in the engine, right?
No.
Okay.
None of them works, right?
You observed.
It was brutal. No, passing out cards. Nothing until the retreat.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll move on to commissioner remarks. We'll start with Mr. Fleming.
I'm glad to hear we're closing in on hiring the HR and training chief. Happy to see we're moving forward on 31 and administration. Thank you to all the staff who's working, as you said, double time, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner Nichols.
I just wanted to say how exciting it was to see that we were working up there at the new fire station, and I've had a lot of questions about what the heck is going on up there, and it's been a pleasure to be able to tell them when we're moving forward with building that station now, because I think people are glad to see anything moving forward right now on the island. It just is a struggle to get things moving forward, and we're kind of leading the way there. We're right on the boulevard. People can see us, and I think that's a positive sign.
If I may, I've had 2 people, I mean, nobody asked me anything, and I like that. But on the architect sign, the biggest thing you see is health care. And both people have asked me, are we going to have some sort of clinic at the firehouse? And I said, no, that's what they build. You know, the architect will build whatever you want. But on that site will be a firehouse, not a walking clinic.
Thanks. Okay.
Just thank you to everybody for continuing to work hard, getting into the new year and moving forward. You're more sirens, so I can tell there are more people on the island, and I suspect you're quite a bit busier. So thank you for all of that. That's about it. I do want to give John a shout out for your fire socks, because I think those are amazing. So, just for the audience, he has socks on that have fire trucks with Dalmatians on them. I think they should be standard uniform for everybody.
Available now.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the gift shop, of
Right,
course,
yeah.
in the fire department, right?
Sorry, merch now.
The new merch.
Commissioner Farrell.
Not a lot from here. I just want to thank Alex King and his team for showing up. That was very revealing numbers, a lot of it coming at us, but all good information. So thank you for their efforts and their time. Again, thanks to the chief for his work on the trucks and the high water vehicle. And then lastly, I had the pleasure a couple weeks ago of attending the Florida Association of Special Districts with Commissioner Bennett, Commissioner Fleming, Chief Worth, and that was enlightening.
Nonstop excitement.
It was a little dry at times, but it was also very informative, particularly the part about civility in discussions, which was at this time most appropriate given what's going on around here. So I want to thank this commission as the new guy on the block, that civility seems to reign, and that always carries well. So there you go.
Thanks, sir. Mirror what everybody else has said. Good work by the staff. It's not easy putting a meeting together, and it's a little dry at times with the numbers and the things we talk about. We certainly appreciate all the effort and information. Thank you, Mr. King, for coming and presenting today. Again, a lot of information, but I think it gives us a good big picture look at what the island's doing as far as the construction and this thing. So I thank him for his time and his efforts, and both Commissioner Flynn for bringing it over for us. I'd like to mention that, the work we do affects everybody in the district, the board, the employees. When you look at the devastation of the California fires and you hear some of the governmental processes that have gotten in the way of people responding and having the adequate equipment and infrastructure to do their job properly, I'm really thankful that we have an independent small government. We control that destiny, and we do the best job we can possibly do to protect our constituents, taxpayers, visitors, everybody that's is involved. My heart goes out to those folks in California. We've dealt with that level of loss with water, and they're having it with flame, which is unimaginable. I have relatives out there, friends out there. I'd say it's equivalent to what we dealt with the community as far as their mental toll and their property loss. So, our hearts go out to them, and hopefully a speedy recovery as easy as it can be. It's not going to be easy. Happy belated birthday, Chief Worth. So we had MLK Inauguration Day and Chief Worth's birthday on Monday. So in case you only celebrated 2 out of 3, make up
That's a
for
big
it.
day.
Right. And with that, I have nothing else. Anybody? We will adjourn this portion of the meeting. We'll re-adjourn in 15 minutes for a retreat. If you get a chance, please grab a menu and select what you would like for lunch, because we're going to put those up in about 10 minutes, I think. They're over on the countertop there. Just write your initial what you want, and we're getting beverage to you. So